Welcome back to Pink Turtle Soaps. For today, I'm making a Christmas soap. I'm using holly berry fragrance. And this really is like the ultimate holiday scent. It really is one of those scents that you start smelling everywhere, especially after Halloween and all of like the Thanksgiving and the Christmas fragrances, like the candles and whatnot. When all that comes out, you definitely find something that's similar to this. There's a little bit of pine in there, but it's not overwhelming at all. There's a sweetness, I think it was bayberry maybe, and it smells really, really sweet. If you're looking for a holiday soap, I highly recommend this one. In this bucket, I have all of my oils melted down, ready to go at about 100 degrees. And then in this bucket, I have my lye water, and it's sitting at about 96 degrees. The fragrance oil that I'm using does discolor. Some people say that it turns their soap a dark brown, and others say it turns their soap a dark purple. So I'm curious to see what happens with my soap. But just to give it an even base color, I am going to add a little bit of honey blush, which is a light brown. But before I add the fragrance or the color, I am going to split off just a little bit of this soap into a smaller container to color it white. And that soap will be left unscented. To begin, I'm going to pour my lye water into our oils, blend them together, and that makes soap. So I'm going to pour off just a little bit into the smaller container, and I will show you in a little while what that's going to be for. Alrighty, so I'm going to set that off to the side and leave it alone for now. So for this large container, I'm going to be adding a little bit of honey blush, which is from Nurture Soap. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check that out. Alright, so I'm going to blend this up for just a little bit to get this color nice and incorporated. Okay, so now that that is blended, I'm going to pour the fragrance in, and I'm going to stir that in by hand. Like I said, it is known to accelerate, and I don't want to use a stick blender and then sort of emphasize that acceleration. It'd be too thick to even get in the mold, probably. Let's just see how this reacts. So it's not rising or anything, so that's a good sign. But I can feel it heating up pretty quick, and it is thickening. I can tell with just mixing this in by hand. So I'm really glad I didn't use the stick blender. And make sure that that is nice and incorporated. Alright, so now I'm going to go grab our molds and we'll start pouring this in. Alright, so I'm going to start with this mold here. It's definitely getting thick, which is actually perfect because I want it to be nice and firm for the next layer to sit on top. I'm not going to fill it up all of the way. Alright, I'm going to shimmy these down, make sure that it's nice and even. I'm going to let these set for just a couple minutes, and then I'm going to get started on the top layer. Alright, so it's time to put on the very top layer. And in here I just colored this with some titanium dioxide to make it a really pretty white color. And there is no fragrance in this, so it won't discolor. I'm going to use my spatula and slowly pour this top layer on. I'll go ahead and fast forward through this because I'm sure it'll take a little bit. Okay, so now that the white is on, I'm going to spray it down with some Snowflake Sparkle Mica. Make it look really pretty and snowy. And so now it's time to do the really pretty Christmassy mica drizzle on top. So now that we're finished, I'm going to spray it down with rubbing alcohol to help seal everything in, and we should be able to come back in about 24 hours to cut it up and see what the inside looks like. Well, we are back about 3 days later. This soap was ready to cut after 24 hours, and I did cut up one of the loaves, but I left this one in the mold for an extra 2 days just so I could see if there was any coloration difference, because this fragrance oil does discolor, and I just wanted to see if there was any difference, giving the other soap a couple days cure time ahead of this one. I am going to turn the soap on its side because the top, the mica drizzle, is still really, it's not wet, but like if you touch it, it comes off on your finger. And I don't want to drag it down the front of the bar each time I cut. So turning it on its side will help avoid that. Go ahead and cut off this first bar. Alright, so here's the inside. You can see how it's starting to turn a lot darker on the edges and on the bottom, and in the middle is still that really light brown. Here is a bar from the other loaf that I cut after 24 hours. So you can see it's starting to darken a little bit. I mean, it's not crazy noticeable, but it is darker. And I'm expecting by the end of the cure time it'll be that dark brown. Does sort of have like a purple tint to it. But I'm expecting for that color to go all the way through this bottom part. And there's a close-up of the swirls on top. I tried my best to make sure that every bar had all 3 colors. I'm also not going to go through and cut all of these for you because they all basically look the same. There's no swirls or anything on the inside, so I don't think it'll be as fun to sit and watch all these be cut. And I left the very top layer unscented, so it will stay really white. There's a close-up of the top on that one. The fragrance is still just as strong as it was when I made this soap. Only now I'm starting to pick up on a little more of a green note, sort of leafy. But you can still definitely smell the bayberry in there. And some of the cinnamon's coming out a little bit stronger as well. It's definitely a wonderful holiday fragrance. If you would like an update about this soap and how it discolors, feel free to follow me on Instagram at Pink Turtle Soaps. That's where I update mostly. I have a Facebook page too, but it's mostly Instagram that I share all of the updates about the soaps that I make. If you'd like to grab yourself a bar, these will be available at pinkturtlesoaps.com December 1st at 8 a.m. And if you enjoy soap making videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I put up new videos every single Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.